There's a lot to unpack from episode 9 of Stargirl because a lot happened. A lot happened. And it sucks that the show has been canceled because goddamn is it good. But before I get into it, welcome to NonStopAntonio, where I talk about everything nerdy. If you like content just like this, hit the subscribe button for more, and I hope you enjoy this video. So there is a lot to unpack in this episode, but let's specifically talk about Pat and Yolanda first, then go down to the big fight, and then the big reveal by the end of the episode. And then we'll talk about theories because, holy crap, I got some ideas about what might be going on, and I want to talk about it. So right away, we have Yolanda and Courtney apologizing to one another about everything that happened between them, with Yolanda getting mad at Courtney for trying to trust Cameron, and, just feeling like a bad friend. They make up together, and I like how later Courtney goes to apologize for the whole GSA. Rick is against telling Cameron the truth, but he finally agrees to it because of the fact that they're family. He's the only family he has now, and he has to trust them. And he always will, even though they might not always see eye to eye. Which I think is very interesting to put down because he's having anger issues right now and he might lose trust in some of the people because of how his hourglass is affecting him. Because you can even see him, he's kind of like scratching himself. You can see he's kind of like hiding the hourglass. Like even Beth is worried about him knowing something's wrong. Beth can tell that he's getting angry, that it's affecting him in a certain way. And I think his friends are going to have to sit him down, kind of have like an intervention and be like, hey, you got to fix the hourglass. You got to start using it for only an hour because it's affecting you mentally. And if you don't get this under control, something bad is going to happen. Something that he's not going to be able to get back from. And I think that's going to be a huge step for Rick this season, where he's going to have to learn how to deal with those emotions in a proper manner, get rid of the hourglass, and learn to not have to be reliant on it because it is affecting him horribly and it's going to turn him down a dark path. Rick did bring up a good point during the conversation, though, how every time Courtney tells people about their secrets, it puts them all in danger, which is true. If you don't have a secret identity, all their parents, all their family, they're all in danger. Sometimes the kids don't really see that, especially Courtney. She trusts too many people, which in the end, so many people know their secret identities now, which is probably not a good thing. But I find that with every superhero media that's not a comic book, almost everyone knows everyone's secret identity. I personally don't like that because I think superheroes should hide it more. And it's really annoying that when you're watching media, they always just reveal it like that. It's just they always do, and it's really annoying to me, but I get why they do it, especially in this case because they're all kids. And let's talk about Pat because he's dealing with everything that happened after the Shadowlands. He feels like he's repeating his father's mistakes and treating Mike like he's unwanted. And even Barb says that's not true. He still loves you. Mike's following after your footsteps. You're a good father. But he feels bad. And we finally figure out more what happened with Mike's mom. Mike's mom apparently had him, didn't tell Pat. Then he found out. They shared custody until Maggie put Mike in a shelter and then got arrested for possession. So she had issues with drugs, and then he never saw her again. He thought by taking Mike away and Mike never seeing his mom, it would fix everything. But now he's realizing that Mike might have to actually talk to his mom to be able to move past stuff and understand what's going on. Even though Mike's kind of treated Barb like a mom and that they're part of a real family now, and I think he really sees her as a mom, and they've kind of grown together. They've grown a lot together. I think it would probably be good for him to also meet his mom, even though right now he's kind of dealing with his own thing with Jakeem. But I think it's going to be interesting to find out if we meet Maggie and Mike seeing his mom, because Courtney got to meet his dad, and I think it's time for Mike to meet his mom. And I thought it was interesting, too, because Pat goes to look for her, and then Crusher comes in and even sits down and says, hey, you should talk to me. We're friends. And I thought that was a really good moment, really showing that the Crocs are becoming the Dugan/Whitmore's friends, and they want to help their friends, and that's nice. Even Paula is helping Barb fight, and Barb doesn't really want to fight, but then calls Paula a good friend, and Paula even says, no one's ever told that to me before. No one's ever called me a good friend, and I thought that was a really good moment. I really like the Crocs relationship with the family right now, and I've really enjoyed it this season, because you can see these people who were villains, they didn't really have any friends, finally coming into this world, they're being better people, they're having friends, and they feel good about it, and I love to see it. I love seeing that redemption arc come in, and it's probably one of my favorite things to see in TV. Let's talk about Cameron, his family, and then the big fight in this episode because, I did not see a lot of this stuff coming. Because we got in the beginning, Cameron's grandma looking over a picture. It looks like a witch hunt, I guess, with icicle powers. She was seen as a witch, or at least her family's been seen as witches. So you had like the classic kind of witch hunt where they burn them at a stake. I thought that was interesting because it makes sense because if you didn't know what the hell their powers were, you would assume they're a witch. And I like how you also find out that she's mad that Cameron's doing art and not his family's duty, and that he has to fulfill that duty for whatever it is. You have even his art teacher coming in to try to be like, hey, what's wrong with Cameron? I want to help him. He's not doing his art. And then Grandma gets pissed off and kills him. I'm like, damn, This dude has not got anything good in the last 2 seasons. Last seasons, he got turned into a paint meta. He had the glossy eyes with the paint when he died. So I'm curious to see if he's actually dead, because maybe his powers prevented him from dying or something. But he really has not had good luck in the last 2 seasons, because he got transformed into a metahuman, and now he's dead. I like how we finally had Courtney about to tell Cameron the truth about everything. Grandma stops him, and then Rick comes busting through the door because Beth got a notification saying that the tracker was coming from the Markens house. Which, is it though? Like, you guys have been being tricked this entire time. Rick just jumps straight into action, and he goes straight for it. He doesn't even question anything. He just says, they're the ones watching us, they're the ones after us, and goes in for the fight. And I like how he goes in. He just fucking busts in that door. And it's all the anger he has right now that's just building up. It's that rage. It's that issues he has from the hourglass that's kind of making him not think straight. And he's just going in recklessly. Because realistically, if they were the ones doing that, they should have done surveillance. They should have looked out first. They shouldn't have went running in, because they're wrong. He was wrong. He even admits by the end of the fight that he was wrong and that he's sorry. And that's the issue. They could have avoided everything if Rick was thinking straight, but he's not. And it's all because of the hourglass. But that fight was pretty cool because you had Grandma Icicle using some pretty powers, trying to kill Yolanda. Yolanda going ham. And then the Grandpa using powers too. And I was surprised to see that Grandpa Icicle had powers, because I thought only one of them might have, but they seem like they're from the same kind of descendants where I guess multiple people had icicle powers. Different families, and they kind of joined together. And the thing is, when the Grandpa was fighting, he wasn't trying to kill them. Like, when he went after Beth, he kind of iced the wall and made the glass shatter to kind of make her step back, and wasn't really fighting her head on. He did do a couple moves at her, but at first he wasn't really trying to. He was trying to get him back. He was trying to just avoid the fight. And then Beth gets combat mode. We find out she has a combat mode in the suit because of Dr. Midnighter. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, Beth can finally fight rather than just running away and doing nothing. And I like how the cape is also a shield. This suit has so many other powers. It took us 3 seasons to get, and it's disappointing that the show is now over, because we could have seen so much more. She could have got a comic book accurate costume. She could have, been more part of the team rather than just like the analyst and doing all the tech stuff. And it's disappointing that we're not going to see more after this season. And surprisingly, during this fight too, Cameron can fight. Like, he's taking on Rick head on. He's doing some pretty cool moves, sliding under him, blocking the moves. And I don't understand how he's able to, withhold the strength, because Rick is full strength mode right now, and he could easily probably punch a hole through one of them with no problem. And he wasn't really holding back. But maybe the icicle powers is what was protecting him, but still, like, I don't know how Cameron survived that. But it was a pretty cool fight between the two of them, kind of jumping off one another. And Courtney was just useless standing there because she didn't have the staff, and she couldn't really do anything going against 2 people who had superpowers. And if she got in the middle, she probably could have died. And I like how Artemis finally jumps in the fight. I was literally watching the episode and be like, where the hell is Artemis? We haven't seen her in a few episodes. Why hasn't she been here to help the team at all? And she comes in and helps the team out, which is cool to see Artemis actually be part of the team. And I do want to see more interaction with Artemis. Rick is about to literally kill Cameron. Like, he's holding him by the neck, ready to kill him. And I was like, holy shit, Rick, you're going down a dark path. You shouldn't be trying to kill Cameron. How is Courtney ever going to trust you again? How is Courtney ever going to forgive you again? How is the JSA going to forgive you for killing him? And you don't think they're going to have very, very bad consequences, because killing Cameron is going to end horribly for everyone. Evil Grandma comes in, yells that the JSA are the ones that killed his father, and then Cameron loses it. And then Cameron almost kills Rick. And I'm like, God damn, I knew Cameron was going to snap, because I knew his grandma was going to tell him, and it wasn't going to be Courtney going to be able to do it, because they just weren't going to be able to do it. It wasn't going to work like that, and Cameron had to go down that dark path to really snap and question everything, because he doesn't realize what's going on, and he thinks that the JSA is now evil. However, you have his grandpa jumping in and stopping it and be like, no, follow your heart. Don't follow the rage. Be a good person. Don't be like your father. And I think that really hit home with them, because now he has to figure out what truly happened with his father. And when he does, I think he might be confused, because he's going to think he thought his father was this great person. Now he's going to realize that his father wasn't this great person. And he's going to question everything he knew about his family. It's going to be probably a big, big change for him as he realizes who the hell the Markens are and what they've actually been doing and how evil some of them are. But then his grandpa almost dies from a heart attack, and luckily Beth is the one that's able to save him with defibrillator gloves and her getting her parents to help her again. And I think that now that that's happened, her parents are going to come back in the fold, and they're probably going to get killed. Like, I just feel like they're probably going to get killed. There's no way they're not. Why would they bring them back in this episode to not set up a really tragic backstory for Beth? At least maybe one of them. Maybe not both, but one of them is definitely going to get either gravely injured or killed. It's time to talk about the big-ass reveal at the very end of the episode. because we have Mike and Jakeem find out that there might be a lab at the Eder produce farm, so they head over there, and it's very creepy. Going to a farm at night is very creepy, especially with the fog everywhere. You never know what's going to happen, but when they go to the farmhouse, they look inside, but there's no one there. But we get to see that there's, the farmer is dead. And you're like, okay, did Cindy kill this dude? Did Cindy just murder this dude when she came here trying to find her father's lab, if there's a lab here? Because they kind of hinted that there's a lab at the farm. But that's when we get that like growling sound, a roar. And we get introduced to the Ultra Humanite, a gorilla villain from the comics who has an enhanced intelligence, superhuman strength, durability, hypnosis, telepathy, and telekinesis. And he's also seen as possibly smarter than Lex Luthor. He's a very smart character, and we finally meet who is most likely the person that killed the gambler and attacked Starman, because he's strong. He could have easily ripped up parts of the trailer. He could have easily launched Sylvester into the air, and he seems like he's been in Blue Valley. He's at the farm that's just probably outside of town. He's strong. I don't know what else to say. He sounds like a monster. To be fair, they also made a couple other characters sound that way to throw us off, so maybe he's not the one that killed them, but he is definitely working with everything that's going on. And because of the fact that he has telepathy and telekinesis, and he can hypnotize people, there's a good chance that he's controlling someone that we may know. One of my earlier theories was that Mr. Bones was controlling Sylvester, but what if Ultra Humanite is? Two different people could be controlling Sylvester, because we haven't seen Sylvester for a few episodes, and he's been flying around checking all these labs. Maybe he's being controlled. But also, you have the hooded figure that's underground watching everyone, and you kind of wonder that, who is this? Because it's not the Ultra Humanite. Two different body figures. There's no way it's the same person. They're definitely working with their group, kind of similar to the ISA. So maybe it's a new ISA, or just another supervillain team that's been watching the JSA going after them. But, the Ultra Humanite did say that he's going to kill them all, and I'm wondering why. Why do you want to kill the JSA? Why are you guys after the JSA? There's been really no big moments here yet that's really revealed why they're even after them or what their big plans are. All we know is that the JSA have been watched. That's all we know, and that some of them have been killed. But why are they being watched? Because I feel like the pieces are slowly coming together. We just don't know what's happening yet. And on top of it, the episode 10 promo was pretty big. We had Mike and Jakeem able to get out of there and tell the rest of the JSA. Probably use the Thunderbolt to get them out of there. They're going to find the sewer hole that leads into where the base is, where the guy's been watching them from. The JSA is getting mad at Rick, but Rick's saying it was all an accident what happened at the Marquand's house, which kind of it is. He's not in fully control of his own mind now. At the same time, you have Cameron asking Courtney who killed his dad. So I wonder if she's going to give up Mike, or if she's going to say that she did it and protect him, because I don't think Cameron's going to go and try to kill Mike. He might, but I don't see it happening. I see more of him trying to wonder why, confronting Mike about it, losing his temper, and then Mike breaking down because Mike even feels bad for killing him. And I think that's going to be a big thing for both those characters next episode. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all these plot points start connecting more. And if Cameron's going to join the JSA to help fight the Ultra Humanite and the person that's been watching them this entire time. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. What do you think of all this? Let me know down in the comments. Were there any kind of Easter eggs I might have missed? And how do you feel about the show being over now? Because I feel like the show could have kept going for a few more seasons at least. And it's kind of disappointing in my opinion. But I'm so glad we got the few seasons we did, because it's been such a good show. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later.